Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Myron. Today, we are going to go over the bust whiskeys of 2024. These whiskeys were just not my cup of tea. They were disappointing. Some of them were disgusting, but they just were not doing it for me. So, let's go ahead and get into this list. First whiskey on the list. I am not a big fan of the regular Bakers because I had some bottles that were great, and then I had some bottles that were just okay. I know it looks like I've been enjoying this bottle. I've sampled it out. I've sent samples out. I've also took it to a bottle share. It's just not. I don't know, man. It's so bland. It comes across so bland, and for it to be the price that it was, which I believe it was $74.99 or $79.99, something like that, and for it to be a special release high rye, I was expecting more. It didn't do it for me. It really didn't do it for me. Now, if you live in the DMV, you probably have seen the regular version of this bottle, which I happen to be a fan of. So I was sitting there in the ABC's store one day, and I looked and I said, wow, is that what I think it is? Strength VHW. Now, this is the Virginia Distilling Company. What they do is they source Scotch, and then they blend it with their own. They used to be the Virginia Highland Whiskey Company. They were forced to take the VHW approach and take the Highland out of it because they were violating some laws, I guess. But anyway, I love the regular 92 proofer. I think it is great, offers a lot of flavor, has a touch of smokiness that is right in that level that I love. But this right here, this cask strength version, I was so happy to get it home. I thought it was going to be like the cask strength Redbreast that I love so much. And no, this was not. This was nothing like that. That was nothing but Welch's grape juice in a bottle. And I was so disappointed because I know how much I like the regular offering. So that one really, really disappointed me. I don't know what Jim Beam was doing when they decided to come out with an American single malt. This Claremont Steep, it's very light, very bland. It does nothing for the palate. Shout out to Troy. Troy gets a fishy note. Some other people on his live when I was in there one time talked about how they got a fishy note out of it. I don't get that fishy note, but it is just not good. It is very bland, very light on the palate, thin. It offers nothing. And I don't know with stuff out there like Old Line and Westward. Now let me get into the commercial time. Guys, go ahead on over. The link will be in the description. It is going to be poordecisions.club. We do have 2 half barrels that we picked. You can go directly to the poordecisions.club site, and it will shoot you directly over to Westworth's site when you go to do the ordering. We also have 2 half barrels on there. From Bee's Knees. They're 2 375s that Sean and Matt picked, and those things are great as well. Also, don't forget Patreon. Join me over on Patreon. Like I said, I've got 2 tiers: Bottle Drop, Bourbon Drop. Bottle Drop tier members, they will be entered to win a 1 ounce sample. 3 of you guys, once I get up to 10 on that tier. And then Bourbon Drop members, once I get up to 10 members on the Bourbon Drop tier, 3 of you guys will be entered to win 1 2 ounce sample of whatever I have on the bar, whatever I review that month. That is for both tiers, whatever I have on the bar and whatever I review that month. Anyway, let's get back to the video. So this one is probably going to piss some people off too. So I was a huge fan of the black cap. I was a huge fan of the tin blue cap when Sazerac first bought it from Brown-Forman, but no longer am I a fan of this thing. Maybe I'll get another one just to see, because this is different. I bought this one this year and it tasted like young Benchmark, if you can get any younger. I've never had the bottom shelf black label Benchmark, but if it tastes like this, I'll never buy it. But all of the Benchmark lineup that they come out with, I like. Small batch, single barrel, bottled and bond, foolproof. I like those. I get a candy corn note in those things. This one right here tastes like a much younger version of those. Now, it may get better down the line. Maybe Buffalo Trace is trying to perfect it. Maybe they were rushing to get this out because, you know, bottled and bond, minimum 4 years old. Maybe they started running out of the Brown-Forman juice, because it was rumored that they bought the Brown-Forman juice when they bought their name for early times. Then some people said, well, no, they didn't buy it. It went into, the 117. So I don't know. I really don't know. All I'm saying is, no, the 1924. All I'm saying is that this one right here, that one was bad. All right, let's get into the next one. I'm going to have to move some bottles around here shortly because I got quite a few. Now, I went out of town, picked this bottle up. I couldn't wait to get it home. This was a bottle that I bought from North Carolina. And I bought it because it is what is this? This is the wheat whiskey, right? Yeah, this is the straight Texas wheat whiskey. And it comes in at 113 proof. Look how dark this thing is. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, that is probably going to be good. I am a fan of Bernheim. I'm a fan of wheated bourbon. So I thought that this was going to be good. I don't know what it is. Most of the products that I do not like have this super fruity, grapey, almost Welch's grape in them. And that is what this bottle has. I am not feeling this bottle at all, man. So we're just gonna put that one over there to the side. Now, this next one, the next two, I might get in trouble for. Shout out to Nancy Frelly. She is a very nice lady, but for whatever reason, I love the Joseph Magnus cigar batch, but this one right here, just the regular Joseph Magnus, it does not do it for me. This thing is super nutty. It's got this weird note in it. It's not, put it this way. When I did the review, I like the Joseph Magnus more than I like this one. I think I said I can't really see myself going back to this one. As you can see, I try to, every once in a while, I try to give myself a pour and say, okay, maybe it'll open up like the Heaven's Door. It does remind me of how that Heaven Door tasted, like super, like nutty, just something about it. And it doesn't seem like it's done well. It doesn't hit my palate in the right way. Now, shout out to Dave Vogelsang, Dave V, man, he is the man. He sent me a sample of the, the Mary Hill Club Special Release number 4. I still have not gotten into that sample. I know that sample is going to be a beast because everybody who's had it pretty much said it was a monster, like everybody. All right, this one I'm probably going to get in trouble for. I do not like it. I'm sorry, guys. This is the new Bardstown High Wheat Tan Label. Does absolutely nothing for me. When I saw it on the shelf, I was like, oh, that's the new Tan Label. 107 proof. Let me make sure. 106 proof. 106 proof. My first thought was, I'm going to put it up against Weller 107, and I'm going to see if it can compete. We know that this is their own juice now. No more sourcing. This is their own juice. So I was sitting up there like, well, maybe that'll be some interesting content. I can get it home. And I got it home, and I was disappointed, man. It was very earthy, very corn husk forward, which I told you guys before, I do not mind in Frey Ranch. But if it's too earthy, very corn husk, some people call it tobacco. It doesn't do it for me. So this thing right here, it offered a lot of those earthy notes. I didn't really find a lot of sweetness in it. So I was disappointed. I don't know if I call it disgusting, but I was definitely disappointed. Now, this one right here, this one kind of disappointed me. And I know that I can be a bit of a proof hound. And I know that sometimes once you start drinking higher proof stuff, it is hard to go back to lower proof stuff. I have found myself reaching for things like the Old Forester Blue Label. I found myself reaching for things like, Benchmark Top Floor. I think those are excellent products. I like a lot of the Michter's stuff. When I first started with Michter's, didn't really care for them so much. Then they opened up and just offered a world of flavors. So this thing right here coming in at 85 proof. This is the Green River 1885. I was just like let down. It was so underwhelming. And I am a huge Green River fan. This stuff right here just did not do it for me. It was weak. It was watery. It offered no flavors. I was just like, yeah, because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's a new bottle coming in at a liter. Kind of got me with the black cap. And then I was like, I could do a review with Top Floor. I could do also, like a 3-way blind with the Old Forester Blue Label. Not happening. This thing would have got crushed. Not happening. Now I might receive a little backlash for this one as well. Now this one was sent to me by the people at Uncle Nearest. And I had one before in the past and it didn't do it for me. And this one right here that they sent me, it didn't do it for me either. At first it was kind of like, oh, okay, this is different. This is different than the one, this is different than how I remember the one that I had before. Then when I did the research, I started finding out that they switched the mash bill up throughout the year. Didn't know that. So I was like, okay, well then maybe this one will be different. Like I said, cracked it, got it on camera, put it with the Uncle Nearest rye, which I really think is good, and just was not feeling this bottle. But BK Miller, shout out to BK Miller, they have a single barrel that is phenomenal. I mean, I went to the store and got a sample of it because I was in there buying some stuff, and you know, they had it sitting there open so you could, you know, get a sample. The young lady poured me a sample in the little, you know, clear cup, and I took a small sip of it because I was not expecting it to be good, and it knocked me off my feet. I was like, wow. So I said, I gotta come back to get this bottle. He told me and I haven't been back. He told me that he had like 6 or 7 cases of it. He said it'll probably be gone by Thanksgiving. Of course, we are past Thanksgiving. I haven't been by the store lately. I need to go back because I need that bottle. And shout out to my man Robert, man, Cutlass High Proof, because he sent me a sample of that thing and I just haven't gotten into it yet. All right, so this is one that was very disappointing, borderline disgusting. Super earthy, super great jelly. I was so excited to get it. It's Ragged Branch. I know I had a small like mini. It was like it came with a bottle. Like when you were buying a bottle, the Virginia ABC sometimes will put like this rubber neck tag that kind of like holds the bottle. So it was attached to it. Did not like that one. It was a small batch, but I saw this bottle and I was like, cowboy cut. I was like 118 proof. I was like, oh, proof wise, it's right up my alley. You know, this thing could be good. Looked at the color on it. I was like, oh, that is so dark. Disappointed and damn near disgusted, man. All right. So this right here is a bottle from Few. This is a bottle that they did with Smashing Pumpkins. It is not disgusting, but it's become disappointing. It's maybe I just need to revisit it. I had never had anything from Few before, so I was kind of excited to get it home. But when I got into the bottle, it was like, because it's supposed to be, I guess, infused with some tea, and I picked up a lot of like black tea, to me, just black tea in this bottle, and it was very light across the palate, really didn't offer a lot of flavors, no complexity at all. So it was more disappointing for it to be my first Few than anything else. It wasn't like it was disgusting, but it just was a little, it's become even more disappointing. But like I said, maybe I just need to go back to it, see if it opens up. This one right here, you might think that I am really liking this bottle. I bought this bottle early on in the year. This is a Private Select single barrel. This one was from BK Miller. I'm a big fan of Woodinville. I really am. And I go back to this thing from time to time. It is not bad. It is good enough that I can drink it to get it off the bar. Now, Claremont Steep will probably always be this level in a bottle. This one right here will always be this level in a bottle. I don't like pouring stuff out, especially like when I do, you know, bourbon meetups with like family and stuff. And like we have, you know, when I go over tasting notes, I like to use a lot of the bottles that have that grape jelly in them to see if they get those notes. Just like I like to use some of the better, like Four Roses single barrels that have a ton of cherry, just to see if they get those notes. This was just weird. It's drinkable, but it's got a weird twang to it. And I'm a big, my first Woodinville that I got was just, to me, incredible. And I still have some left in that bottle. And I think I bought that bottle back in like 21. I think I ordered it from Sip Whiskey. I think it was a Sip Whiskey pick, or a Sealbox pick. It was one of them. But this one right here, I mean, now, you know, it's a pick. It's a single barrel, but This one right here, it's just weird. It's got this weird twang to it, and I go to it and then I come off of it, and then I go to it and then I come off of it, and I started to find things that I like about it, and then I go back into it and I start to find things that I don't like about it. So I haven't been in this bottle in some time, so I will probably drink it down, especially sometimes like when I just want to pour and I'm like, you know what, it was an interestingly weird pour, and I don't want to go through my good stuff, so let me just have myself a pour of that, and I'll go ahead and get myself a glass. So these are all of my bust or disappointments or disgusting bottles of 2024. I would love for you guys to put in the list and below what you have as your worst bottles, bust bottles, disappointment bottles, disgusting bottles of 2024. And with that being said, let the whiskey flow. Never run out. Let's get it to a drop. Till next time.